Hello, welcome to this review of LEGO Creator Expert Set 10262 James Bond Aston Martin DB5. This has 1,295 pieces and is rated for ages 16 plus. It came out in August of 2018 and ran through the end of 2021. Without further ado, let's get into the review. Before we talk about the set itself, I do want to mention that the instructions for the set look really good, kind of have that whole James Bondy like secret agent feel to them with the like classified documents sort of thing going on with the instructions of it, which nowadays you don't get anything this cool for instructions. You might get a black you might get a like just plain black background with a picture of the set if you're lucky. But yeah, the instructions look great, and you always gotta like the detail that LEGO used to put into their instructions. So yeah, with that out of the way, we can pull the set on over here. Being a creator expert car, this does not have any figures because it is way too big for figures, although it would have been nice to get a cool little James Bond figure, although we did get one with the Speed Champion set that came out after this. But it looks really good overall, and we'll start with the details on the front and stuff, and then eventually end off with all of the different features, such as the like spinning license plates and the little machine gun holes. But if we look up here at the front, you can see the grill, which are all printed pieces, I believe, here on the silver. And I just love the silver detailing mixed in with the light gray here that just really pulls the whole thing together and gives it a little bit of extra like vibrance to it or whatever. But yeah, it just looks really good from the front here. Now there are plenty of stickers with these license plates, as well as just a handful mixed throughout, like the one on the front there. And another detail that I'd like to mention is the build for the front lights, which is really cool. And this one, of course, has a play feature, which we'll talk about later, and the bumper themselves, because all of the like this whole front section is extremely detailed. This entire set is really very detailed and looks really good. Now we'll come up to the like side of the front bit here, and if we pull up the hood here, which of course you can do, you can see into the engine, which is also detailed out there, which looks really good and makes use of a lot of those little revolver pieces in there. A couple of them got a little bit twisted. I can't remember if that's exactly how they're supposed to go, but because it's been a while since I've built this set. But the engine looks really good in there and just fits and really helps add that extra level of detail to these sets when they include engines and stuff in them. So yeah, and then moving a little bit more towards the back, of course, we have the door and this little bit of detailing there, which looks pretty good, kind of feeds into the engine, sort of like a air intake type thing. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know much about cars, specifically Aston Martins either. But yeah, the door looks really good, and we'll get into the interior when we talk about the features and stuff, because this passenger side, it comes into play, because yes, this is a more like European style, so it's a left-handed drive, so the driver's seat is on the right side driven, so it's the steering wheel and stuff, like driver's seat is on the right side and the passenger seat's on the left side here. So this is the passenger side, and this will also come into play later when we talk about play features as well. But of course, talking about the wheels here, they have a little like spiky bit on the side there, a bit of extra detailing, and it looks very good. And moving to the back, we have another sticker, which is on either side, of course, but it definitely adds that little bit of detailing, helping round out that section there. And while my sticker placement isn't perfect, it still kind of comes in clutch there, filling out this space, which is a pretty good little build. This like whole little section here is a separate build that gets put in here, as you can see, with like the cheese slopes and stuff to fill in those gaps. It looks pretty good, I would say. There's definitely no real improvements that you could make upon this little design there. But as we come towards the back here, we can see the like back bumper and stuff, which has a handful of play features into it, which we'll of course get into after the design. And the like bumper itself, of course, is broken up in the middle, which is also part of one of the play features I was talking about. And you can see the exhaust back here, which looks pretty good, and a whole bunch more stickers with, of course, the flippable license plate here in the back with a whole bunch more stickers, and the little like Aston Martin sticker right there. And there's another play feature going on in the back here, but we'll just take a peek inside into the trunk, which is quite empty at the moment, but looks pretty good overall, I would say. For like a trunk, it's got the whole opening and closing feature, which is, you know, kind of the whole point of a trunk, so you can put stuff in there. But yeah, it does not look too bad and is pretty good. And then of course there's another little sticker right there. And then of course there's the like backlights and stuff, adding a little bit of Technic into the build to get that rounded off look there, which is very nice. And I'm glad that they like were able to keep that rounded off look all the way like throughout the whole side of the build. As you can see here, it's rounded off all the way across, which looks really good. And then of course you have the whatchamacallit, the mirrors and stuff up here, I believe. But yeah, next we will go on to the features of this build. Starting up with the front, we will show you the functionality of this, and then I'll show you where you can access it. So you can flip this, the little front lights, into the little machine gun turrets as well. And then of course this is a flippable license plate as well. But how you access that feature is pretty cool. You just pull back on the stick shift here, and it flips the that piece there with some little technical mechanism at the bottom of the car. Excuse me as I knock everything over. I'll have to reset it here in a second. But yeah, it just uses this little lever here to flip that little section back and forth and makes it look really good. And I just really like how that feature comes together on the build. And while we're down here, we can check out some of the other stuff with how that comes into later features as well. But let me get this flipped back over and a couple of things put back together, and I will be right back. Now that everything's put back together the way it's supposed to be, we can move towards the back here for our next feature, which is the raising of this little piece here. While I'm not entirely sure what it's supposed to do, you can see on the inside there kind of what it does. It uses that technically like lift arm back there to raise up this little little panel. And if I don't really know exactly what it's meant for, so you can put that in the comments below if you do know, because I'm not really well versed in the Bond lore. I've really only watched one movie, which I watched last night, which is why we're doing this review here. Now there is another feature back here, but I think it's the coolest one, so I'm going to save it for last. So we'll move over to the driver's side here, sorry. And if you can see in there, it's a little bit dark, but you can see the all the dials and gauges and stuff in there, as well as the steering wheel and the seat, and then of course your little stick shift there, which can flip the thing there. But next of course we have is like the little phone here. If you open up that, it's a little secret like telephone style thing, which looks really good. And now if you move up to the back here, we can of course see the best of the features here, which is the ejector seat, which is a working feature in the set. You just pull this back. I'm not gonna actually do it right now. Pull this all the way back, and then which opens the hatch on the top, and then if you release it, a little lift arm gets released with some tension because of the rubber bands in there, which sends the chair flying. So we'll demonstrate that here. Of course, you open whoops. So apparently, as I just demonstrated, it can be a little bit finicky, so you gotta be careful with it. Sometimes it takes a couple tries, and if you just keep pulling, you're gonna break something, which I just did. So You just gotta keep that in mind. Don't force it, because I just did, and I had to fix the internals of it. But it was luckily an easy fix, just something got displaced. But yeah, as you can see, when you pull it back, the top pulls off, and then if you let go, it sends the seat here flying, which is a really cool little build. It just makes use of the little lift arm down there. You pull it back to build up some tension, and then when you let go, the rubber bands in there let it like pull it back into their desired spot, which sends the chair here flying. It's a very cool feature, and I really like it in the set. And maybe this, yeah, I still don't know what this feature back here is for, but yeah, it's a really cool set. Looks great on display, and it's packed full of cool features. And if you can get your hands on it for the I think it was like a little under 200 new. Currently it originally retailed for like 150, I believe, so it's not up that like a crazy amount from when it's initially released, which isn't bad and bodes well for anybody who wants to get their hands on it nowadays. It's still definitely available out there. You just need to look a little bit harder than you would have had to when it was out. But yeah, it's a great set, and I definitely recommend picking it up if you're a fan of like anything James Bond and stuff. And like I said, I have never really read or saw any of the James Bond stuff until like just last night when No Time to Die was on TV, and I watched it and thought it was pretty good and figured it was finally time to review the set. It's been sitting in its box for quite a while and is just built, and I just never reviewed it, and I definitely regret it because it's a really good set. Now I can set it on display now because it's just really good looking. And yeah, so I'm gonna go do that right now, and you guys should definitely check it out and maybe purchase it for yourself if you like James Bond stuff. So yeah, have a good one, and we'll see you next time. Bye.